Yeah, I forgot. Y'all, I forgot. Okay. In my defense, y'all know it has been a crazy couple months for me. It's been a crazy week for me. Work-wise, stress-wise, today-wise, I was running all over heckin' creation and then didn't get home till 6:30 at night and then was like, I still need to do all my content stuff. Lo and behold, it becomes 8:45. I get a message from Bree who's like, girl, where's your live show? Where's your live show? And so, yeah, lo and behold, this lady right here, thankfully, reminded me of the fact that I had a live show today. So thank you, Bree. I love you very much. Thank you so much for keeping me accountable. So yes, we are today. Hello, Elises. Hey, sorry about being super late. It's been a day. It's been a day for me. But today we are going to be talking about The City We Became by N.K. Jemisin. Now, I don't have the book with me right here, right now. I just put it in my shelf upstairs, forgetting that I even had the live show. So, I love you more. Love you most, as my grandmother would say. Yeah, so the last few months have been, oh my God, Alicia, y'all, this freaking last few months, I swear, has been so stressful when it comes to everything. I mean, if you guys don't know, in October, I quit my day job, and that was a headache in and of itself. And trying to scramble around, figure out what the hell I was going to do, that's been stressful. So it's been a time. I actually don't have like notes, but there's a lot that I want to talk about, especially based on what I said in my video. Like I don't necessarily do a lot of annotating anymore, just because I don't really have the time and the energy to do it. But I got it locked up in here, so we're good. It's okay, no worries. Just want you to know I was here. I haven't abandoned you. Oh, no, I appreciate it, Elises. I really do. And I don't think I don't think anybody's abandoned me. I think it honestly is very similar to your experience where you come on the channel, there's nothing there. It's because there's, nothing. I got nothing. I got diddly squat, basically. So y'all can tell. It's been a time. Gap's getting sassy. Usually I'm only like this when I get with Bree and Brandy and Adrian, and now I'm just doing it myself. So anyway, okay, so we first of all are wrapping up this entire N.K. Jemisin read-along for the year of 2023. So everybody pat yourselves on the back because y'all did this. Not blame us for it. No, I ain't blaming you. No, I ain't blaming nobody. It's my fault, truthfully. Like, I've been so crazy. I just feel like, I understand. Like, if there's nothing here, there's nothing here. What, you guys can't contribute to the conversation if there's nothing here to contribute to. Anyway, so we have, I am sassy. It's been a day. Like, oh, Lord. It's been a time. So we are wrapping up the read-along for N.K. Jemisin with the most recent series, and in some ways, I would say the most polarizing when it comes to whether people like this series or not. This is the Gray Cities duology. It is following the city of New York, where it is basically more sci-fi, the most sci-fi I would say that we've ever seen of NK, with the exception of obviously Far Sector having been the graphic novel that was based on the Green Lantern series. Okay, I will. I'm going to do that actually right now before I forget, because Lord knows I will forget, and then Bree's going to be like, hello, can I get in? So here, let me send that over to you. Okay, there you go. When you can join in. So basically this series is about the city of New York. It is where the city of New York has these entities, and the entities are the different sectors of New York. We've got the basically essences of Manhattan, Brooklyn, Queens, the Bronx, and Staten Island. And the main conflict of the story is that there is this other entity, this more malevolent entity that is looking to take over the entire city of New York. And she's trying to recruit the current entities of these boroughs, basically, to aid her in that. But what she wants to do really is absorb them in some capacity to use to her own gain. Now, not all of them ascribe to this thing that she wants to do. They are very much combative. In the case of Bronca, and who is the manifestation of the Bronx, Queens, and Brooklyn. Manhattan, though, is being shown through this male character named Manny, who has a lot of memory issues. He has no real idea of what his life was before. He just wakes up at a subway station and has no memory of who he is, but he knows that there is something going on where he is able to see and hear things and understand things much more differently than everybody else, which is where we get this idea about the entities. He's kind of the character that we see first off that explains this idea of the entities that are in this world. Now, what also happens is we see a character named Island, who Island is a very kind of repressed, very she leans right wing in a sense, but right wing in the sense that because of the environment she was brought up in and the fact that she was very isolated from the rest of New York and the rest of the world, she has a very limited view of things. And also because of her limited view and her isolated kind of predicament, she doesn't really have a lot of people that she feels comfortable with. She's very lonely. And so when this entity, this malevolent entity comes in and kind of befriends her and makes her feel comfortable and welcome and promises her all these great things, she kind of decides to follow along with this entity. And so it's kind of this idea of not only, fighting this big bad guy, but then also fighting, a part of yourself where you maybe have those bad aspects of you, or there's always somebody in a group that is not going to always follow these same ideals and same thought patterns as the rest of the group. Like, for instance, like no matter where you go, you are always going to find somebody that's going to have an issue with who you are, what you do, all those things. And Island is kind of, I think, that representation of that. So in this series, we also find out that this entire issue is not the first time this has happened. Apparently, this has happened in London and in Sao Paulo, Brazil. And this is talked about at the very beginning of the book when one of the characters, who basically is named Sao Paulo, we find out that there is some kind of group that is trying to help these entities with fighting off this malevolent one. And it's been something that's been a problem for a while. We don't really know why it gets into that. Obviously, like you find out more as the book goes on. I don't want to spoil it right now for a lot of people who haven't read it, but really the biggest thing is that there's this malevolent entity that definitely plays more in a sci-fi aspect as opposed to fantasy. And I think this is where maybe a lot of fans of NK were kind of put off by her. Whereas maybe some people who had never read her before may have enjoyed this a little bit more. Now, that's basically like the general synopsis, a pretty brief recap of what the book is. So I want to open up the floor now to everybody. I personally rated this 5 out of 5 stars. This is getting very close to the top of my favorites list for NK. I am debating on whether it still beats the 5th season for me as like a book and a series in general, or any book that she's written. The 5th season is still one of my favorites, but I don't know whether or not The City We Became beats it. I genuinely feel like I am having a hard time with deciding which one I like more, because I love them both so much for very different reasons. And I also feel like that The City We Became has such a higher level of love within the book. It's a love for the city. The book is literally written by a New Yorker, writing about the different boroughs as if they're real people and what those kinds of people are personified as, the types of personalities, okay, dogs are going crazy, I apologize. The personalities and how the history and the culture of those boroughs, those real life places filled with real people, how that manifests and how that looks like to any other person, basically giving somebody the ability to recognize and understand what those areas are like. Yes, Elise's, it is 100% a love letter to New York. It is 100%. And it's a love letter in the sense that it's show, like I said, showcasing the beautiful aspects of the different parts of New York, but then also the not so great parts, because Staten Island has, a lot of issues with it, as is indicated through the character of Island. Now, it's not necessarily maybe 100% accurate, where not everybody on Staten Island may be like that. Not everybody from the Bronx is going to be like Bronca. Not everybody's going to be like Queens from Queens. But the idea is that the boroughs themselves have, and the different areas of New York have personalities about them because of the people, because of the history, and because of the culture that has been developing in those areas. Like, I would love to, for instance, hear Adrienne. I'd love to hear her perspective of the story if she's ever read it. I think she has, if I'm not mistaken. But I would love to hear her thoughts on this, because having been living in New York City for a long time, also Jira, I would love to hear Jira's perspective on this, because they both live in New York City. They live in different parts of it, and so I want to know, what do they feel like? Do they feel like these represent the different areas beautifully, accurately, anything like that? Because I, as somebody that lives in the middle of Michigan, I've never been to New York City. I don't know what it's like. I would love to go visit New York City at some point in my life, but I probably will not for quite some time. So this is the closest I'm going to get. So it had better be, as accurate as possible, even if it's, a sci-fi story. So accuracy is not going to be 100% there, because it's a sci-fi story. So what were your guys' thoughts? What did you find to be, what did you love about this book? Because personally, I feel like I loved every single aspect of it, from the entities themselves, from the conflict that there was in the story. I want to know how everybody else liked it, because I feel like I've gushed about it enough on my video and as in the first 13 minutes of this live show. So I want to hear everybody else's. I want to hear what you guys had thought about it. Was there something about it that you didn't gel with? Was there, and what was it about that? Why did you not maybe gel with that as much as everybody else? Because I know that this series has been NK's most polarizing. So if there are some issues, I would like to know, what were people concerned about? What were people struggling with? Because I don't see much of a reason to really hate this series so far. I mean, having only read the first book, I don't know how book 2 is necessarily, but I don't know what it really is, the main issue. And I see Dougie getting into something. Doug, what are you doing? Are you getting in my shoes again? You better not be going to chew up my shoes. Come lay down. Dougie, come here. Lay down, please. Sorry, folks. He is just being a little bit nosy, and I'm worried that he's stolen a couple of shoes of mine recently. So he's gotten in some trouble. I think he's fine now. Okay. As someone who knows several New Yorkers and I've visited a few times, it felt very on the nose. Okay, on the nose, like good or bad? Thought it was a very unique way to explain the dynamics and politics of New York. By politics, I mean in the general sense. Yeah, that's what I figured. Especially really the dynamics of that. The dynamics in terms of how each place is different. How Staten Island is different from the Bronx, which is different from Queens, which is different from Manhattan. All the different areas, they in themselves have dynamics, and they in themselves have dynamics in terms of the people, the politics. It's definitely not a city where everything is uniform. as most cities are. There, like even Detroit, there's parts of Detroit that are absolutely different from another piece. Curious on your rating. I haven't decided on the rating yet. Most likely a 4. Okay. Elises, what about it did not make it a 5 for you? Or like what were some of the things that you found with it? Did you just not love every aspect of it to where give it a 5-star? Or was there like any glaring issues? Because personally, I didn't really see anything other than the fact that I feel like this would be something where people just may not gel with the sci-fi aspect as much, but I personally loved it. So I'm curious, what is it that what didn't sell it for you as like, a 5-star, if that makes sense without being condescending? Because I feel like that sounded really condescending and I apologize. That was not my intent. So I am curious to see how book 2 ends up too, because I felt like everything was very uneasy going out of book 1. And I'm a little nervous to see how things are going to go. Like, what's going to happen? I'm also curious if there's going to be more of a companion. It's going to be more of like a companion sequel as opposed with everything else. Sorry, my Goodreads. Apparently I got kicked out of that on my computer. Just going to pull up the world we make so that I have it for when we go over the synopsis. Oh. Okay. Love the sci-fi aspects of the book. I think it's more so that I'm still sitting with the book, but it's sitting at 4. Okay, so you're thinking about everything. Okay, fair enough. I know, like I felt like almost immediately, like there's some books where I get right into it and automatically I'm like, okay, this is probably going to be a 5-star. Like there's very few books that I have that feeling with immediately. But from the very first page, I thought that I was going to love this book. And I continued to do so over the course of the book. I really did. I absolutely love this idea of alien entities, but not from like necessarily just space. Like they kind of like something that just kind of exists. I love this idea of like alien demonic kind of overlap entities. I think that that's a really cool concept. And I got more of that from the story, even if that might not necessarily have been the intent. I definitely felt that kind of like come through in the story for some reason. It just it felt different than what I've seen of other alien entity based sci-fi, where like it's very obvious they're from space, they're here to like, change things on Earth, whatever the case may be. But it felt more demonic too, which was kind of interesting to me. And I really, really enjoyed that. My 5 stars have been 5th season and Far Sector. Okay, fair enough. Yeah, like those are 5 stars for me as well. Totally get it. I think 5 stars is still what I would give this one. But again, I don't know whether or not it beats the 5th season for me. I don't know whether it does. I feel like if I'm going to have a tie, it's going to be between those 3, truthfully. Prologue of this book is one of my favorites from the short stories we had read a few months back. Yes. Oh my gosh. It was amazing. Like, I even loved the way that, like, I just love how it just felt so seamless. I just felt so seamless from the short story to the prologue. Like, it just, were they the exact same thing? Because I don't remember if they were the exact same thing. Because I think the short story collection may have come out before The City We Became, but I don't remember now. Did the prologue? Was that part of the short story collection? Because if it was, then I do remember absolutely loving that. The approach he took was by far the most unique. Yes, absolutely. Like, so very different than anything else I've seen. Now, I will say that I feel like, so keep in mind, I'm also at this time finishing Imago by Octavia E. Butler, which has like alien entities within that. Okay, it was. Okay. Thank you for the reminder, because I couldn't remember whether or not it was actually in the short story book, but yay, loved it. I have been reading Imago by Octavia E. Butler, and so that has a very different alien entity, obviously, than The City We Became. And most of the time when I've read something with alien entities, it has been some form of either what we see in the Xenogenesis trilogy, or the alien entity is here to destroy and kill everything on Earth and just take over the Earth. I love how this one, like I said, it just felt like, Elise, as you said too, it felt so unique. It felt so different from the way in which that the wanting to kill everything and destroy it and make it my own, how that even felt different. Like, it felt like I said, it felt more demonic, which was odd. Like, it wanted to not only take over the entirety of the world, but like wanted to go by absorbing up these other entities. It wanted to like take over them so that it could take over the city, not just destroy and kill everything, but like absorb it, which is interesting. Like, I'm floored. I'm floored by this book, truthfully. It was just so freaking good. I am nervous though for book 2, because I will say that with NK, what I've noticed is that for me personally, the sequels to her stories are not always as strong as the first books. I saw this with the 5th season. I saw this with 100,000 Kingdoms. I saw this, well, with the exception of 100,000 Kingdoms, actually, because I liked book 2 most out of those books. But we kind of saw this also with the Dreamblood duology, with the Killing Moon and the Shadowed Sun, where, you know, I didn't feel like things were as strong in the second book as they were in the first book. So I am a little nervous about how book 2 is going to go because of that. But I'm still hopeful, because I really, really like the way that this story has been created. Like that she uses a sci-fi aspect as a cushion or barrier. It allows individuals to learn real aspects of the different boroughs without turning the reader off, as this is a lesson to learn. Yes, exactly. Like, it's almost as if, like, okay, so we've got like urban fantasy, right? Fantasy that is rooted in real life, or in your face preaching. Yes. Oh my gosh, I hope this makes sense. It's a roundabout way. Yes. I agree with that, because I think about it like this is the sci-fi equivalent to what maybe an urban fantasy would be like, because an urban fantasy, right, it's placed in the real world, and in some way there's either a fantasy world within it, there is a fantasy world like in a plane next to it, or there is a secret part of the world that is hidden away, that is, you know, the fantasy aspect, and somebody goes over into those areas, right? Or you have more kind of in your face urban fantasy, where you have, it's a part of the world. It is integrated in the world. And like you have your vampires that are well known and that people know how to work with them, like Morganville Vampires, the Sookie Stackhouse series to some extent, you know, those kinds of things. Then you have something like this. What would you call it? Like urban sci-fi of some kind? I feel like that doesn't quite give it it doesn't feel like the right genre for it, but this definitely is. It's not in your face, but I wonder if a lot of people thought of that. I wonder if a lot of people who had read NK's work in the past had seen this and been like, this is way more sci-fi than I was expecting, yada, yada, yada. You know, like, I'm curious, because I know that this was one of her least liked series. So I would love to know, why did people not like it? Was it because it did feel like that preachy sci-fi kind of thing, or was it because of something else? Because I didn't see it as in your face sci-fi. I saw it as, oh my gosh, like, okay, we're in New York City. Oh my gosh, there's a whole aspect of New York that we haven't even, you know, looked into, which is the fact that each of the boroughs has an entity ascribed to them, and all these entities have to go fight this other entity that's going to try to destroy everything. Like, I didn't see that as in your face, but I can see how somebody would like maybe see that if they're used to the more fantasy aspects. I don't know. I'm confused on why people don't like some of N.K. Jemisin's work, because I found them to be enjoyable. Even if they haven't been perfect, all of her books have been enjoyable. So I don't get it. I don't get it. I'm very frustrated, if you can't tell about that. Very frustrated. I don't know. I don't know. And it's very irritating. Anyway, so yeah. Let me see. What else did I want to talk about? I also wanted to talk about okay. So I would like to know, did anybody at least feel a little bit of sympathy for Island? Now, Island is a character that I think is a very sticky situation. It's a very sticky topic because obviously Island is a product of her environment, right? She's a product of the upbringing that she had growing up. Her parents were very much, don't, go into New York City. Dad, being a cop, was like, I've seen so many bad things. You shouldn't be in the city. There's too many bad people. And this group, are all bad people. There's a lot of, crooks and criminals and all that stuff. Obviously, very, right-wing kinds of thoughts. What were your guys' thoughts on Island? Because I feel like as a character, she wasn't necessarily misunderstood, but I think that NK wanted to use her as a way to say that, like, not everybody obviously thinks the same way, but also that sometimes there are people who are ignorant because they have no other life experience. They have no other way of viewing things, and they have a very kind of lonely experience in life. Island, she is terrified of going to New York City. The first interaction we have with her is her on a ferry on her way to New York City, and she turns back before she's able to actually get on the ferry because she's terrified. She's terrified because of the fact that her dad has spent her entire life telling her to never never like hop the ferry and go to the city because of all the bad things that are there. So what are your guys' thoughts about her? Do you feel like what do you feel like her purpose was as this character? I'm curious to know, because I kind of said what I think about it. So I want to know what you guys feel like about Island. Do you think that she had a purpose in this story, or that she was kind of just another character within the story? My thoughts exactly, but a lot of people from Staten Island think the way that she does. Oh yeah, I am 100% certain that is the case. I am certain that there are tons of people in Staten Island that think that's the case, because obviously these boroughs are set up to emulate what the communities are in these areas. I'm just curious if a lot of what people see about her is that she is more ignorant because she's never been able to experience anything else, or if she's just blissfully ignorant, like she's just ignoring everything and she could have done something. But like there's some people, I think, in this world who unintentionally are ignorant, but they're ignorant in the sense that they don't have the ability to experience other things, and so they never get the chance to unlearn their mistakes, if that makes sense. Like, some people are so sheltered that they are unable to change their perspective because they're not able to experience life. Or if you feel like Island is more of a blissfully ignorant person where she could change her opinion, but she's just refusing to. At the root, I took that she was another character, but also like there might be hope for her. Yeah, that's kind of what I thought too. Another character to help explain the thought process of people in that borough, but there might be hope for her. Yeah, I had thought that too initially. I thought that would be the case. Hello, my dear.
Hi.
All right, so Island, your thoughts.
Innocently ignorant, but also ignorant and not wanting or caring to learn.
Okay. So kind of a mix
I
of
hope
both.
that makes sense. Yeah, I feel because she's ignorant. That's what she grew up around. That's what she knows. But also, like, you live in such a major city, like you don't want to know more. Like you don't want to expand. And even her mom was just like, I want you to have a different life. So yeah, I don't know. But I'm like, you're grown. Come on, how ignorant are you supposed to be? Sorry.
You're good.
Like, get it together.
Right. So Bree, tell us your thoughts on the book overall.
My overall thoughts are, I loved it. I'm giving it a 4 because it's not my favorite of NK. Um, I like the fantastical gods overall. And that is, the Inheritance trilogy will be one of my all time favorite series of all time. Sorry. But I loved the embodiment of what I believe New York is. This was my first book I've ever DNF'd, and I DNF'd this when it shortly after it came out, 2021, 2020. I don't know. It was a while ago, and it was the first book I've ever DNF'd. And I just could not get into it. Hey, Elysees. I just could not get into it, and so now I mean, thank goodness we're rereading it because I have a better understanding and better aspect. And so, but I love the play on the essence of the city or the borough for each individual and how they come together. I love it really, when I think of New York, these characters are what I think of. The art, the music, um, the language, I mean, even the way they spoke. Um, I loved how she took this evil of gentrification and tearing down these places that are so instrumental to communities, and um, was and use that as this evil thing, which is definitely happening, right? NK, she has a masterclass on the website called Masterclass, and I took that masterclass, and she said it was it was her love letter to New York, and it really embodies it. Like I said, the music, the arts, the paintings, um, just all of it, the subways. It was very. I felt like I was there, and I can envision it, and like I said, it's what I think New York is like. I I enjoyed it. I really did. I really did. I'm glad I read it again, and I would
Yeah.
definitely be reading the sequel, of course.
Yeah. I'm glad that you read it too, especially after having initially DNF'd it, because
Mm-hmm.
it gave you, like you said, like it made you kind of get a better understanding of the book to where you could enjoy it more so, which I'm happy about that. I mean, I would have been okay if like you DNF'd it still, but like I'm happy to hear that you actually enjoyed it after having had DNF'd it previously. That's a huge
Absolutely.
improvement.
I really I loved it. I didn't I loved how they kept saying, like, you know, this is what I feel like I have to do, like, and they felt like the city, right? Like they kept saying, I feel like the city, or I am the Bronx, I am Brooklyn, like all of these things, and how they have to come together as a unit in order to save the city. I thought was amazing. I loved how she did that. I love how, like Alicia said, the political spin on, and how she took what is actually truly happening, and made it into this fantasy world thing of evil. I don't know. But it's definitely happening, people being pushed out of their homes, and stuff like that. It's just, yeah.
Yeah.
I love how she did that.
Yeah.
Only NK could. I mean, I'm sure other authors could have done it, but like it really was amazing.
Yeah, I was just thinking because I recently read When No One Is Watching by Alyssa Cole, and that talks a lot about gentrification
Oh,
too.
absolutely.
It's done so differently in this. It's, I think, done obviously with it being more fantasy sci-fi based, right?
Yeah.
It's got to be done in a way that's going to entice a fantasy sci-fi reader.
Oh,
But
absolutely.
it paints a beautiful picture of what is really happening.
Mm-hmm.
And
Absolutely.
like if you're to look at both stories,
Mhm.
even though they're completely different genres, it's almost the same kind of idea.
Oh, yeah.
Because
Absolutely.
any community where you are pushing people out that have rightly had their feet in that ground for generations is not okay.
Mhm.
And I love that, like you said, like you guys said, like it's just, it's happening, it's been happening, it's going to continue to happen. We need to be aware of it. And I love that she really brought that up. And I hope that that was what everybody else got out of it. I wonder if maybe that did go over some readers' heads initially.
Yeah. What went over my head was like, okay, but you're this person, this mother, but you're this, and then Manny, but you're Manhattan. And I was just like, what?
Mm-hmm.
I wasn't ready for that. I just was not ready for it. And it just, I was like, how are you, wait, what? Make this make sense. But it really, now I get it. I
Mm-hmm.
get it. And it just, yes. And she talked about so many different things with her political view, or not political views, but like politics that are happening in New York. They talked about ICE, right? They had a character that was just like cussing people out, like, if you call ICE, whatever. I don't just, it was, I loved it. I loved how Manny was just a shade of, excuse me, can you hold on? Woo, Lord Jesus. But I love how Manny was like, they didn't know what he was. If he was black mixed with this, mixed with that, and they're really just trying to figure out his identity. But that's what those are things that I think of when I think of New York. Just a smorgasbord of so many different cultures, so many different people, so many different from all walks of life in all parts of the world. I just, yeah, the way she did it, and she kept all the nuances and the things in New York, right? Like even the brownstones, all of it, the subways, the arts, the music, and Manny just like thinking about the music. And in the beginning of the book, when Manny is like taking a walk in the park and he has these things coming after him, and then he throws they're throwing money down to like, then he says something along the lines of like, how much is it per square foot in New York? And he is like, oh, we don't have enough money. And like trying to save him and his roommate. And I was like, yo, facts, right? Like you don't. It's hella expensive, and to have a square footage of land, apartment, whatever, is just all of it. Every detail of what I thought New York would be, she put into the book, and it definitely was a masterpiece. I would, if not that I did not resonate it with New York, I would have given it a 5 star if it was like somewhere closer to home, where I just, it just was for me. Like I felt like this was for me. This is for people of New York, surrounding areas, who really like, I'm sure they can see themselves through this through and through.
Yeah.
So
I
She did
love
a
that.
really good job, and I know that I don't think NK is from New York, but she moved there when she started her writing career, and she talks about in her master class how New York inspired her so much, and to she's not just the author, like she writes for other publications or I don't know, newspaper. I don't know what she's doing. But she writes outside of being a author, and yeah, just I enjoyed it.
Yeah.
I really did. They even talked about what was it, the guys on the radio. Oh my god, I was just like,
Oh,
God, that was stressing me out. And I was like, he was like, we're not ashamed to be white in our white penis, and I was just like, what the
I know.
so
Well,
Staten Island.
the first interaction that we have with Bronca, where they have the artist that comes there, and he's like, "You don't understand. This is about like white power, all these things." She's like, you ain't bringing that shit in here.
Yep.
That ain't happening." And I was like,
Take that shit up north.
I was like, "Ooh boy, here we go." That was where I was like, "Oh boy, here we are. This is happening because this happens every day out there. Why am I surprised? I shouldn't."
Yeah. It just, I was like, oh Lord Jesus. Yeah, I get this enough in Texas, but yeah,
I don't know if you
ready for
listened to
that.
the audiobook. Did you listen to the audiobook at all?
I listened to it half of it.
Okay, because I love the way that the audiobook was, where there were spots where it felt like things were glitching out here and there.
Mm-hmm.
That was so immersive.
Yeah.
Like,
I completely agree. The music, and then they had some, not music, but the way they edited it and engineered it was amazing.
it was so good.
Yeah, I should have started with the audiobook, but I didn't.
Yeah. So. It was like, it's probably one of the best audiobooks I've ever listened to. Because my favorite audiobooks are the ones where they have those extra things.
Mm-hmm.
Like, as dumb as it may sound, I love the first Court of Thorns.
Story in your head.
Yeah, the Court of Thorns and Roses audiobook, where it's got the sounds, as awkward as that was at first reading it or listening to it.
Yeah.
It was much more immersive, and I enjoyed it.
The dramatic one?
Yeah, the drama, like the more dramatized one.
Yeah.
Where you can actually hear people's like moaning and grunting, and I'm like, should I be listening to this? But it's much more immersive.
Yeah. Oh my goodness.
Yeah. You're 100% right, Elises. It really did capture each accent super well.
Absolutely. How many narrators were there?
Oh my gosh, I don't even know.
I need to find out, because if that was one freaking person, she killed it.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Let me see.
I'm checking now too.
One person.
One
Robin Miles.
person.
Robin Miles.
Up. How, Sway?
Oh.
He deserves an award for that shit.
I know why I recognize her voice now. She narrated the 5th season.
Yeah, she narrates a ton of books. A lot of people don't like her voice because of how she's able to change so often. But again, she just adds so much to the book.
Yeah. Oh, and she did Wild Seed too.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, I know her voice from somewhere. Yeah. Why did I not think to look it up before?
She did Yellow Wife. She does I think she does all of NK's. She does Tiffany D. Jackson books, I believe, if I'm not mistaken.
She did the Jumbies by Tracy Baptiste as well, apparently.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, wonderful. Yeah, wonderful voice actor.
She is amazing. I want to say she did Tiffany, if I'm not mistaken.
Kind of figured, because there was one accent that she was struggling with. I think it was Island's mom. I can't remember. Oh, okay.
The Staten Island mom.
Right.
I mean, still, the fact that she can do all of those accents, like, how, Sway?
That's some talent.
Because I thought it was at least 2 people.
Yeah.
Yeah, she does all NK. Man, and Octavia. She's done a couple of Octavia, one Zora that I see so far. I just know her name so well because I know she's in a lot of YA books as well.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, killed it.
Absolutely killed it.
Man, that's
All right. Well, do you have any other thoughts before we move on to the synopsis for The World We Make?
No. I'm ready for the second book. I cannot believe we've read most of NK because she has some online works
Mm-hmm.
from my understanding. But yeah, I feel she's just brilliant. She's brilliant.
Absolutely. She is definitely in like my top 5 authors right now.
Oh, absolutely.
Like the breadth of what she's been able to do over all these books and across her entire career has been astounding to me.
Mm-hmm.
She is such a unique way of writing that I have found to love in every single one of her series, even if they weren't all perfect for me, like all 5 stars.
Yeah.
I have found so much enjoyment that every single series I want to go back and reread and maybe even annotate the books for different things.
I feel like I got so much out of the ones that I did reread.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I feel like I got a lot out of it for sure. After rereading it, it's like things that I didn't even know about, and like I didn't even put that connection together.
Mm-hmm.
So, but yeah, this is it was an amazing book, and I really appreciate like her sharing sharing New York with us because as much as what I know of New York is based off of movies and based off what people say, and it's like
Mm-hmm.
okay, but now I see it. I because I see it in my head because of how well her writing is. I felt like I was there a lot of the times where she was like describing things and there was a time where the ground was like shaking and next thing you know a skyrise went up and I'm like, yeah. Yeah. It was there she talked about so many like real hard-hitting topics but made it into this great sci-fi fantasy way that it was just done so well. So
Mm-hmm.
I'm definitely giving it 4.5 stars. It's definitely a series that I would so far I would even book one. I consider rereading for sure
Mm-hmm.
in the future.
All right. Well, with that, let's go ahead and get The World We Make figured out. All right, so all is not well in the city that never sleeps. Even though the avatars of New York City have temporarily managed to stop the woman in white from invading and destroying the entire universe in the process, the mysterious capital E enemy has more subtle powers at her disposal. A new candidate for mayor wielding the populist rhetoric of gentrification, xenophobia, and law and order may have what it takes to change the very nature of New York itself and take it down from the inside. In order to defeat him and the enemy who holds his purse strings, the Avatars will have to join together with the other great cities of the world in order to bring her down for good and protect their world from complete destruction. So we are going to see, hopefully, the other great cities. So we're going to probably learn more about London, Sao Paulo.
Yeah.
Ooh!
This is going to be great. It's going to be great. The fact that there's a collaboration outside of not just New York and she's bringing people in, which goes to again with I'm talking which goes into how I look at New York is just a smorgasbord of everyone, right? Everyone is welcome to the city. Everyone is not it's not just like you were born here so you're in New York. No, like that it's that I don't know. It's like COVID, right? Where they just like they had so many people coming to the city to help them. people flying from all over to help the nurses and the EMTs and first responders, and it just I feel like she's gonna do a great job. Like
I think this is going to be good.
I know, especially with the collaboration. Like that's gonna be amazing.
I'm so excited, and I have a distinct feeling this is also going to be inspired greatly by certain events that happened during
Hope she doesn't
COVID
put
time.
a mayor like Rudy Giuliani mayor.
Mm-hmm.
Is it that kind of mayor, or is it actually going to be a really good mayor? I don't know.
Don't know, but
God.
something tells me that this is going to probably hit harder than book one did in a lot of ways.
Yeah.
I have a feeling we're going to see a lot of stuff happen that is going to be shocking.
I can see that.
Only makes sense. It was mentioned they could learn from Sao Paulo, unless I'm misremembering. No, I think you're right. I think they did talk about that quite a bit, and from London as well, because they fought this thing in both places.
Mm-hmm.
Current mayor is the one that came to mind. Okay.
Yeah. I thought it said new mayor in the synopsis. Maybe I wasn't paying attention. My kid was talking to me.
Oh, I am so excited. You guys, I am thrilled. Thank you all so much for having been a part of this read along for the entire year. Like, holy crap. This has been insane. Like, I thought the Brandon Sanderson read along was absolutely mind blowing, but like this was like just about as good for a whole different set of reasons.
Oh, absolutely.
Like, you really can't compare these two authors at all. Like, they are wonderful in their own right. None of the current today mayor of New York.
Oh, gotcha. Okay. Gotcha. Okay.
I know. I just
like, knowing AK, I just know she's gonna, because she talks about such hard hitting topics. And granted, she puts a spin on it, but like, I just feel like she was gonna do something traumatizing where we're getting this Rudy Giuliani mayor of like horribleness. But yeah. I don't know. But yeah, she's amazing. Angela, I'm trying to think of her name. Science something. I don't know. She's a big fan of N.K. Jemisin, and kind of put me on years ago which is why I first read her book. And she, as she says, N.K. is just a queen. And I was like, yeah.
Yep, 100%.
It was published in 2002?
2022.
22?
Yep.
2022? Wait, what?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Not me thinking I DNF'd in 2021.
I think it either came out in 2020 or 2021. The City.
I definitely bought it when it first came out.
Let me see.
So I don't know.
Let me take a look.
Either way, I'm kind of embarrassed that I DNF'd it last year. Or, man, I guess things.
2020. That's when it came out.
Oh, I'm like, wait a minute.
Yeah, it actually came out around the time COVID hit, actually.
Okay, I'm like, I want to say early 2021, I DNF'd it, and I was like, I just can't. But I was in my YA, I was a teacher for young kids, and I just wasn't in the mind space of reading something so sci-fi fantasy for adults. Yeah, I wasn't there yet. So I am now.
Man. But to think that we've spent this entire year going through and reading her work, or most of her work, because like you said, the online stuff is a little bit more difficult to get for some people.
Absolutely. She has a ton of short stories too.
Yeah.
Somewhere out there in the ethers, and I was just like, yeah.
But it's just crazy to think that we all did this together.
It's been fun. This was a great read along. Thank you for hosting it.
Of course. I'm just glad that I was able to do it because I had wanted to read NK for so long and I kept thinking, there's so many books, like how would I do it? And it just worked out that, the most known books of hers would span an entire year's worth of reading. So Bree, thank you so much for having been a part of so many of the live shows and the discussions. Like, you've been absolutely wonderful as always. But also, I want to thank everyone that's been in comments and just hanging out with us and talking with us. Like, from the very bottom of my heart, you guys know. Stop that! You're crying. Okay. It means the world to me that you guys want to come out and hang out. While I just sit here in my office and do this and talk books with me. I never used to really have a group of people that did this with me all the time. So it's been really, really awesome to host my own, and having been a part of, the Brandon Sanderson one a lot last year, it really I felt like made me more confident to do it. And so I just really appreciate all you guys' support. And I'm excited to see how next year's read along goes. So
what is next year's read along?
We're going to do The Witcher.
Oh, The Witcher.
Yeah.
That's going to be fun.
Yeah. So I'm excited to see how that goes because I know a lot of people have been wanting to read The Witcher. I know Brandy was reading it at one point, and I had been reading some of the books, and I've been enjoying it so far, but I would like to go back and, start over and read through the whole thing. So
how many books are there?
I hope you guys will join me in on that. If you're more than interested, feel free to come drop by. Even if you just want to hang out and listen to us talk about the book. If you've not read it and you're not interested, that's fine too. You do you. But for now, do we want to maybe do a sprint or two? Because I got some work I still got to do today.
Yeah, sure. I'm going to break open The Speaking Bones by Ken Liu. I'm finally breaking that open. So,
ooh.
Yeah. How many books are in The Witcher?
So there's two prequel, or there's one or two prequel books technically that are like short stories, and then I think it's 6 in the main series.
Okay.
So it might not span the whole year,
right?
But it would be most of the year. Hi, Courtney.
What's your schedule? Or have you come up with a schedule?
Not yet. That's one of my things I want to work on either tonight or tomorrow is figuring out that schedule because I've got my goals videos and stuff that I'm going to be working on later this month. So I want to make a video specifically for that too. So okay. I got to figure that out.
Yeah, keep me posted because I'll join you on that. I'm reading a lot of high fantasy next year, so.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Fun.
I'm to join.
All right, sounds good. All right, so how about we just do maybe a 60 and just we call it good.
Okay.
All right.
Sounds good.
Let me go ahead and get that on. Come on. One dog just flopped down behind me. Which one was it? Oh, it's Doug. He's flopped in the hallway.
Elise's, what book are you reading? Hey, Courtney. Elise's has me tied into so many buddy reads. Blaming her. Not that I'm blaming her. But it sounds good to blame her just because. Yeah, so I brought Ken Liu with me, this tome of a book. It's 900 pages. It is the 4th and final book to the Dandelion Dynasty, and so I'll be reading that before I go to bed. It is only 7:00 here, but I'm tired.
Yeah, well, I will say that when we went to LA, it was the time change. It really did affect us too.
Oh, absolutely. It's a 3-hour difference from where you're at.
Yes.
So.
Yeah. Chickened out reading The City We Became is still on my desk. That's okay. That's fine. Brandy, hi.
Hey, Brandy.
So yeah, we'll just do a quick little 60-minute sprint. I've got to edit my November wrap up to post because I was supposed to post that a couple days ago apparently, and I totally forgot. Story of my life. Fully intended to read this book, but I got busy with remodeling my garage and going back to work in the same week. Oh. Going back to work. Jira! Yay!
Can we celebrate that?
Yes,
Can we
please.
celebrate that? What in the world? It's been a year. It's been a year. She done left the house and went back to work.
And remodel her garage?
And remodeled the garage. That's a lot.
That's a, yeah,
That's a lot.
that's a little too much for me personally.
I am so happy for you, Jira. I'm so happy for you. How does it feel?
Now I'm gonna get all emotional.
I know. Y'all killing it. 2023, I will say there has been so many changes, and I feel like this was a year of transition for me personally, but the positives that have come out of 2023, life changing. Life changing.
For me, I think it was a lot of challenge.
Oh yeah.
Like I dealt with a lot of stuff this past year, mentally, emotionally.
Yeah.
Yep. November seems to be the time of year where I just want to uproot my entire life.
Oh, absolutely.
2 years in a row where that's happened.
That's why I start planning in September. No lie, I start planning in September, like making sure that I have, self-care, making sure that I'm prepared for the depression to massively hit me in the throat and just knock me out. I start planning in September of like getting my stuff together, my routine and my journaling, how I'm going to just get my life together as much as possible because I can't control things outside of how I feel. And so I start planning in September. It happens every year.
Yeah.
Every year. And so it's been a year of transitions and challenges and so many hard things. Oh my God, the world is on fire, literally and figuratively. And there's so much death and grief and so many different things. But that aside, I acknowledge that. But that aside, there has been so many blessings and so many amazing things, priceless things. And Jira going back to work is the icing on the cake. Like, what? I'm done for I don't even need nothing else for the rest of the year. Like, what?
Forget Christmas. We're like all of our Christmas wishes just went out the window because Jira is back on her feet.
Back to work. Like the rest of us. A ghetto alarm. She is back to doing it.
For some reason, when you said that, all I thought of was a stupid little thing from Scrubs, the TV show. The episode when Carla and Turk they give JD back the Sugar Hill Gang radio, and it starts playing the Sugar Hill Gang song.
Oh my gosh!
I don't know why that came to mind. That just
only you would think of that.
Truthfully, I think it's because I've watched that episode like 5 times in the last week because we put Scrubs on for the dogs.
Right.
So I've watched that episode like 5 times, and I'm like, I'm done. Almost 10 p.m. here, so 30 minutes, and then I'm going Betty bye. Fair enough. Everyone's saying hello, congrats. Exactly a year to date. It feels amazing. Although my reflexes are a little slower. First day back, one of the babies shit. Oh my god.
You had it coming. You had it coming, sis. It was coming. There is no better welcome than just a baby to just shit all over you. It just, shit all over you. Put the bodily fluids on Jira. That is an amazing welcoming.
Well, Courtney said it was christening.
Like after a year, I mean, yeah, that NICU was like, you the one. You should have been here, okay?
I wanted Jira retired, but such is life.
Yeah, that would have been nice if she retired because she does have her pension. But
17
Jimmy
years of
doesn't know how to
seniority
stop.
and pension getting better. Saved. Nice. Love
Yeah,
it.
yeah. It would have been nice if she retired, but yeah, though in this economy,
Mm-hmm.
mm,
You gonna
yeah.
be working till you're dead.
Or at least I really wanted Jira to be able to um do telemedicine, where she
Mm.
was an RN nurse doing telemedicine. That's what I was trying to convince her to do. Sit your ass at home and take these calls from parents about snotty noses. You know what I'm saying? Like, do that.
Mm-hmm.
Jura loves the babies. That's what she wants. And NICU nurses. I'm from experience. There's nothing like them. There is nothing like them. There is nothing like them. I've had doctors where I'm like, there's something wrong, there's something wrong. And a nurse is like, I hear everything you're saying. Absolutely. They let me take charge of my daughter's care. Like all of the things that I was experiencing when my daughter was in the NICU, they were just so amazing. And the older she got, it's just like, yeah, don't worry about it. Like that's how the nurses are, the older she gets. Like, oh, that happens to everybody. But NICU, like the babies are so fragile and they see so many different things that there's nothing like them.
Mm-hmm.
I get it. I get why she went back to work, but I would have loved to see her at home in her bed in some pajamas,
Mm-hmm.
in telemedicine calls.
Mm-hmm.
Such is life.
Yeah, we can't all win, unfortunately.
Yeah, true.
So, all right. With that, I guess let's go ahead and get into the sprint. So, all right. Got 1 hour, everybody. Happy reading or productivity, whatever you're doing, and we'll see you in about an hour. Hello, everyone. How was that sprint for you guys? I managed to get quite a bit done. I got thumbnails and Instagram photos finished for the most part, and I got my video edited and exported. So now I just gotta upload it now.
Killing it.
Yeah.
I made tea and read 36 pages, which doesn't seem like a lot, but the writing is definitely small.
Mm-hmm.
Small compared to, other books. And there is 1,045 pages.
Oof.
Oh my God. What did I sign up for?
Lord.
I blame this on Elise's just because I can. 1,047. No, but it's good. It's a good series. It's definitely a commitment. But yeah. Our trip has been well. I'm exhausted. Yeah.
How long are you guys supposed to be there?
I'm here till Tuesday. Tuesday evening. Yeah. We missed our first flight, so we've been up since 4:30 Central Time, and so which is like, what is that, 2:30 East Coast time or West Coast time, and so yeah, I'm exhausted. My daughter had 2 seizures on the plane, which freaked me out, and I had such a day. So I'm glad I got to like get into books because the hecticness of getting here has been a little crazy, but all is well, yeah. I'm happy to be here, and I got a free library card. I was supposed to pay $50 for it, and I got a free one. So
yeah, tell them all that story you told me.
What story?
About how you got the library card in the first place.
What? Well, no, they said that they give 6 months for free for people out of state and as a courtesy, but I was like, I'm not coming back in 6 months to renew this. And I said, I don't want to pay $50, but I will pay it if I have to. And she was like, girl, don't worry. And I was like, no, it's okay, I'll pay it. And she was like, okay, if you want to, because you only get 6 months for free. By the end of our conversation, yeah, I ended up getting a whole year of and so with LA library cards, because I got one for me and one for my daughter, with out of state library cards at LA, it's one of the best in the country libraries in general for at least ebooks and audiobooks. They only give you 1 year, but you have to come in person. And so the Hilton trick, as we know, does not work. The magical addresses that we come up with in the IP trickery does not work after a time period. So now that I'm in person, I finally got one. And so, yeah, I was boosting her up, and I said, you are a blessing. You are an angel from, my angel. I said, the Lord Almighty created you in in his image to be a blessing upon me today. I was just hyping, giving her flowers. And she was like, girl, get out. I was like, thank you so much. So, yes. Yeah, it's been a crazy day though, because that $50 legit, and things have been, since I got here, things have been working out. Like I end up gas is so incredibly expensive here, so I'm having to drive because I am not staying in LA, and so I had to drive an hour and 20 minutes outside of the city And so I was like, he was like, well, to fill up a tank of gas is $140, upwards of $140, depending on the vehicle. I said, what? To fill up a tank of gas? He was like, well, if you get an electric car, it's $16. I'll take one of those. I never had one before, but it feels like when you start the car, because there's no engine, it's like, you just have to, is it on? I don't know. So it's just been, people have been like having my back all day since I got here, and I'm here for it. I love it. They'd be like, oh, you look like a tourist. Yes, I am. Help me, please. So, yes, absolutely. People don't realize how important books are for us, and it just like the library downtown was so magical and just amazing. And I absolutely loved it. Just they kept a lot of the history in it, where like the bricks and the even the shelving are just, oh, it was so beautiful. There's art through and through of there. Of course, I went to Octavia's lab, and that was just amazing. The creative writing station that they have, the 3D printers that they have, and they were working, like they were actually going and producing material. And I was just like, yo, this is amazing. Like, this would be my sanctuary, this safe haven, right? And again, we can go into a whole conversation. About how much library and how important libraries are. And I think we all essentially know that. But the safe haven for not, as Ashley from the Bookish Realm says all the time, it's not a warehouse full of books. Like, they don't store books, right? It is so much more than that. That library was just beyond amazing. And it just like, again, inspires me to just love my library so much more. And I've been using my library all year. And that's one thing that I'm so proud of, is like physically checking out books and actually utilizing not only my, Libby, but going to my library and like sitting there, because all of that makes a difference. Like, it's such an amazing space. And again, the books, like, oh, the access, okay, access that they just, oh. And when you're surrounded, I know I'm surrounded in Texas. Like, I know I'm surrounded around the states that's leading the charge for banned books. And I come here and they're spread out. They're advertised. The artwork of LGBTQIA is on the walls. Like, this is not normal for me to see, because I've lived in the ghetto for years. But libraries are just, oh God, they're so important. They're so important. It's just like, yeah. We say support our libraries all the time, but I mean, like, no, for real. Like, don't talk about it. Be about it. You know what I'm saying? Like, show up and just be there. Yeah.
Oh boy. New York 2022. Yeesh. It's gonna be interesting.
Why am I not surprised? Oh, sorry. That's my nephew. Sorry. Oh. Yeah. This is gonna be 8%. Oh gosh. Okay. I'm ready. Take my library, $50 right now. Look, I'm telling you, that library, we know, right? I think when we sat on live and we went over the numbers of the libraries and the ebooks and the audiobook, I think LA is at like almost 500,000 ebook just content and like material.
Mm-hmm.
What?
Mm-hmm.
What? The biggest library with material, not material, but like the biggest library in the United States, essentially, I don't know any other city that would be bigger, based off the numbers. And then I go into the building and I'm like, I'll pay for the $50. I'll pay because I don't want to come back here in 6 months. I'll pay for $50. $50. The caveat is that you have to show up in person. And I get why they did that, but then it's like, you gotta show up in person. But yes, it was so worth $50. And luckily, again, I did not get charged the $50. But I met the right person at the right time. And me and my daughter, my daughter has 2 Hoopla accounts and she maxes out of those every month. She got her own LA library card. Don't max out of my Hoopla no more. Like, no more. And so, yeah. Libraries. Oh, God. My library is being shut down for renovations, and I'm so sad about it because now I have to drive not too far. It's like 15 miles. It's quite a bit. 15 miles in Texas is a lot. Like, it could take me over 30 minutes to get there. But I love being there, right? I think we all in the book space community love being surrounded around books.
Mm-hmm.
But what I loved about the LA one is just the vibes. It was so calm. It was just the lights were dimmed throughout the entire place, unless you were in a study area. It was just it was amazing. And like I said, they kept a lot of the history in that building, and renovated around it rather than tearing it apart and getting rid of it. And so you saw so many people from so many different areas and so many different languages speaking throughout the library. It just, again, that safe haven. It just was amazing. I loved it.
Oh.
Biggest flex of the year for me.
No kidding.
LA library card. Okay, the black card. Okay, the black card of library cards.
I think it's so cool how you, me, and Brandy all were able to go to LA in the same year.
Did you get your library card?
No, I didn't get to go there. We didn't have enough time. But I did manage to go to Octavia's grave, which was such a wonderful experience.
Yeah.
I cried so much, and it was just like a very sudden, like I was fine until I actually sat down next to her gravestone, and I was like, I just opened up in tears. But it was so, I mean, y'all know I'm a very spiritual person.
Yeah.
I had my friend standing next to me, and my husband and my other friend were standing like probably 20 feet away from me. I felt somebody touch my back as I was crying.
Yeah.
I don't know who it was, but somebody touched me, like touched my back.
Yeah.
I felt like a hand. And it just made me cry even more because I'm like, get emotional thinking about it. It was so sweet. And there were people that left like little crystals right on her gravestone. It was just, it was so sweet. It was so awesome to see, just like the evidence of somebody having been there, that somebody had also come and seen her.
Absolutely. She, they say you die twice, right? In life, physically, and then when people stop speaking your name and remembering you. And so I love that people are still showing up. People are still showing up. It's not a fad. Octavia Butler is not a fad. She doesn't like get talked about on social media and then people are like reading her books and it dies out for a little bit. No, that's not the case. And so Maya and I are going on Monday and I'm excited for it. It's the one thing that we are going to do on Monday. Tomorrow we're gonna go hang out and thrift. But yeah, I cannot wait. I cannot wait. Though, yeah, we all three came to California, which is crazy. And I love that you took the time to go see her gravesite, because like
it was actually really awesome, because at first when I got there, I didn't think I was going to be able to, because I thought it was further away than it actually was from where we were staying. It was like maybe 20 minutes.
Yeah.
And the day prior, we had gone to the LA Zoo, which is like basically like the other side of the park kind of thing where it was. So it actually didn't take us very long, and we were heading up toward Malibu anyway that day for a beach day. So it just happened that, you know, we were able to do that. And at first, when we first got to LA, I didn't think I was going to have the time.
Yeah.
But it all worked out perfectly. And it was kind of sad though, because when I was there was somebody that they were holding a funeral, like really close to it. So it was kind of sad, but it was such a surreal experience to just be able to sit next to that and just be like, that this was a person.
Oh, absolutely.
And
I still read her work, right? Like, this is, you're living through these books. Yeah. That's amazing. That's so exciting.
It was great. And my friends were kind of at first like, why are we going to see this person? But once I explained it to them that like I wanted to, you know, pay respect, they were like, oh, well, that's nice.
Yeah.
But they're like, why did you come all this way to see a gravesite?
That's why I came. Honestly, okay, so not that I am, because I don't want to talk about it. Y'all know I'm old. Don't come for me, Elyse's. I feel old, okay? But tomorrow's my birthday, and I wanted to be able to, one, get my goddamn library card back, and two, be able to see and you just go there and spend a little bit of time with Octavia at her gravesite, because she has inspired a lot of confidence in me. You know how you were talking about with NK and doing a year-long readathon. It's just not easy to have this type of commitment, something year-long. And I really just wanted to spend it with one Maya, but definitely I wanted my library card and wanted to see Octavia, and to see her gravesite and to go there and know where she's resting, but also like, what, she's in a library, you know what I'm saying? And I'm reading her books, and not only is her works of art all around the library, she has a lab for innovative inventions. And it's like, oh my gosh, it felt Monday is gonna fall full circle, where I'm like, Octavia has, you know, she's everywhere. And I love that.
I love that too. I love that for you too. Like, just for it to be even more impactful for you.
Oh, absolutely. I'm going to try to maximize on a budget my experience here, and it just it's been amazing. I'm glad I got out for my birthday, because I really didn't want to, because I was like, you know what I can do with this, and medication costs this, and this is this, that I had every excuse not to travel, because it's so freaking expensive, especially here. But I went and grabbed food and went straight to the library, and I was like, I'm getting library cards, I'm getting this, I'm getting that, and I'm like, we're leaving, like, yeah. So to see it come full circle on Monday is going to be amazing. And then Kindred will be our last book, and I'm really excited for it. I can't believe we both did year-long read-alongs, and it's
I know.
Like, what?
You've done it now for the second time, but I've done it for the first time, and like, but it's like the first time for you where it's like something that not only is in a genre that you really enjoy, but is by an author that you've wanted to read and respect as a person, and you found even more respect for them as you read.
Absolutely. And this was my first year, even though I created Brandon Sanderson's schedule, this is my first year starting it for my just me, right? I am so glad that Maya, reached out to me and joined in. But yeah, for me to start it and like jump into it and like, okay, if nobody else reads Octavia, I'm going to. And we both chose really strong, amazing Black women to support and read all 2023 and every single month of the year. And
we also did Zora.
Oh, we also did Zora. Zora just, oh my gosh. Zora been putting me through some shit. Zora, this last book is gonna be short story collection, and I'm like, Zora, you really putting me through it. You and these shitty men. But yeah, what a year. What a year of devastation. But I mean, there's so much. Again, like I talked about, I really try to see the lessons and the good out of the bad. And it's been beautiful. It's been a beautiful year.
And while we've been talking,
thank you. I'll be 45. 35, 47. No, I'm just playing. I honestly, I'll be 33, 34. One of them. Who knows? I don't know. I haven't been talking about it. I'm not excited for it. I'm not looking forward to it. I kept my mouth shut. This is the first time it's coming out of my mouth during this live, but yeah.
Well, happy early birthday.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
I hope that you have so much fun the rest of your trip. It was such a great experience to go do so many things out there for Robert and I. We had such a great time. Like, and it was one of the things where we were staying in particular. We were even like, this would be someplace we would move if we could.
Oh, absolutely.
Like we were basically like in downtown. A couple friends of ours, one of them, one of my best friends from college, she works for a script development company. So she lives really close to LA, and her fiance is going to law school. So like they're right in the middle of it all. But
I couldn't do that.
There's a neighborhood though that it's part of the bigger city, but it's just enough outside of it that it's kind of got its own little world, it feels like.
Mm-hmm.
It has a great little coffee shop. It's like you can walk to a ton of great restaurants. It's like it was just a really great location for even just like a couple.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, this is where I would move if I was to move anywhere in LA. Because I felt comfortable there. And in big cities, I normally am a little nervous. I was completely comfortable that entire time.
Yeah. I need to be outside of a major city. The outskirts are just, of course, when housing and inflation got really bad, a lot of people went to the outskirts of major cities, at least in Dallas, Fort Worth. And so I love being able to still have access, but not be in the midst of the city. Mm-hmm. Like I'm close enough, but I'm not close. Mm-hmm. Close. And the way that they drive out here, I'm like, going somewhere. Y'all just move out my way. Like, just leave. Get off the road. But yeah, I don't know if I would live in the city, but the outskirts. Right now, I'm in Ontario, California, which is technically an hour outside of it. But that's with traffic. And so I would love to live like San Bernardino or Pasadena or even Ontario, but I couldn't. Income taxes, the state taxes, and all that, it's a lot in California.
It is.
On top of if you live in the city, being able to afford the cost of living, no.
Yeah, it is rough. I will say that.
No.
It's not easy, but if Robert and I were able to, we both said that we would be more than happy to move like where our friends are, because I mean, for one, we have people out there we could hang out with all the time, but then two, like there's so many great places that they've been there for now almost 3 years, and they found so many great spots, great places for food, great places for entertainment. Like when we were there, we went to see a comedy show at like one of the biggest comedy show places that there is out there in LA.
How long were you out here?
We were out there for like 5 days.
Oh wow, yeah, that's a lot of time.
Yeah,
and you didn't get a library card in 5 days, girl.
Girl, listen, there was so much to do.
Oh my gosh, it would have had to wait. It would have had to wait. I said library card, okay, that you could take with you.
I know. If I had thought about it beforehand, I would have made it a part of my itinerary, but I didn't.
Black card. Come on. Okay. It's the American Express black card of all library cards.
I know. If I would have thought of it.
Look, I'm going to activate mine in the morning. I'm gonna let it sit tonight because I'm so excited about it. But yep, I'm definitely going to I know. Yeah, I'm definitely gonna be using the shit out of mine for a whole 12 months. You hear me?
Mm-hmm.
I might purposely plan a trip with a long layover sometime next year just to renew it. Just to renew it.
Yeah. I mean, Jiro, really, it was all Bree, Brandy. You know, I just joined in halfway through for the fun of it.
And wasn't it fun?
It
I'm
was.
reading Warbreaker this month because I was like, I really just want to read fun books and just really enjoy myself. So, yeah.
Yeah. So, getting some birthday wishes.
Thank you guys. You're still a baby. I know. I just feel old.
Yeah.
You know, my soul is old. I've had gray hair since I was 8, and I'm not even kidding. My foster mom used to like pluck them out of my hair. But yeah, I just feel old. But thank you guys. I appreciate it. Say it now so you don't have to say it tomorrow. Don't be embarrassing me on the Beyonce internet during spring.
I promise I won't.
Tomorrow will be reading.
Yeah.
Sprints. Lots of fun.
Yeah. I mean, I'm able. I could do another sprint if y'all wanted to. If we wanted to do like another 60. After that, though, I'm probably gonna crash.
Yeah, I don't have it in me personally, but I will support you in the comments.
Right. Sounds good.
All right. Well, have a good night, guys.
Yep.
See you guys later. Bye.
Bye, Bree. All right. I know y'all that are here, you'll want another sprint, so we're gonna do one. So hold on one second. Okay. And then that. And then that. And then that. Okay. I think we got it. Yes. Yes. All right. Another 60 minutes, guys. And go. Okay, guys, that's going to be it for today. Hope you guys got some good work done or reading done. Thank you guys so much also for those of you that joined in on the City We Became live show part of this. And I got a lot done today. I got the rest of my stuff done for my video and uploaded it and basically got it scheduled for tomorrow. I got all my TikTok stuff figured out. I got my Instagram stuff figured out. And I also went ahead and did some planning for Christmas gifts for this year for family and friends. So now I just got to actually make the stuff, which I don't have to worry about for a couple weeks. So yay! So got a lot of stuff done. Tomorrow I've got still some stuff to do, but not nearly as much as I would since I got a lot of it done in the last like 6 hours today. So yeah, pretty happy with that. I'm gonna go to bed because it is 12:30 where I am right now, and I am exhausted. And my boys are telling me, "Mom, it is bedtime. You've been up for a long time. You need to go to bed." So that's what we're gonna do. But hope you guys have a great rest of your night and a great rest of your weekend. And I will see you guys sometime soon, hopefully. Hopefully. We'll see. One last thing is I do want to say my hope is that the live show, again, this is my hope because I'm going to try to make this be the case, provided I don't forget again. The live show for the World We Make is going to be in the new year, and it will be Saturday, January 6th. I will do my best to make sure that it is on time. Do my best. We will see. Because Lord knows today did not go the way I anticipated it to. So it is what it is. But anyway, have a good night, everyone, and I will see you guys next time. Bye.